Okay, now we move on to the next session, or the next session, nested intervals. Nested intervals. Okay, so we say that, so definition. So we say that a sequence of intervals, we say that a sequence of intervals in, where n is a natural number, is nested if the following chain of inclusions holds. That is, we have a sequence in of intervals. Okay, that is, we have a sequence I1, I2, I3, I4, etc., in plus 1, etc. So this is a sequence of intervals. Each and every I1, I2, I3, I4, etc., all these are intervals. Okay, now this sequence of intervals is said to be a nested intervals. Okay, if this sequence holds a particular property. Now what is the property? The property is this: I1, the interval I1 will contain the interval I2, or I2 will be contained in or equal to I1. I2 won't be bigger than I1. Okay, so I1 will contain I2 and I2 will contain or equal to I3. Okay, and this process will go on and on. So etc. will be containing in. I know nth nested interval will be containing n plus 1th interval, etc. Okay, if the sequence in follows this particular property, we say that the sequence of intervals has a nested sequence of intervals. Okay, or for example, so see, if you want to know it diagrammatically, we'll just plot it. Okay, so suppose this is our R, suppose this is I1. Okay, suppose this is I1. Okay, I'll mark it later. Okay, I2, I3, I4. See this, suppose this is my I4. Okay, if this is my I4, then next one, this will be I3. So I4 is contained in I3, and I3 will be contained in I2. Okay, and I2 will be contained in the first one. This is I1. So the bigger one is I1, that contains I2, that contains I3, that contains I4, and this goes on. Okay, so if a sequence of intervals in holds this particular property, then we say that sequence has a nested sequence of intervals. Okay, now we'll see some examples. So examples. So example A, see, in is equal to closed interval minus 1 by n, 1 by n. Here what is I1? I1 is equal to interval minus 1, 1. So in this, if this is 0, let this be minus 1 and let this be 1. So this is my I1. What is I2? I2 will be closed interval minus 1 by 2, 1 by 2. So here you have minus 1 by 2 and here you have 1 by 2. So this is our I2. Now what about I3? I3 is equal to closed interval minus 1 by 3, 1 by 3. So here this will be minus 1 by 3 and here you'll be having 1 by 3. So this is your I3. Okay, so this should be renamed, right? So minus 1 plus 1 is I1. I1 contains I2, I2 contains I3, etc.